You're watching Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Dallas Mavericks Media Day is in the books. It has come and gone. We got a lot of stuff to get into from the American Airlines Center earlier today. But first, more Jae Crowder rumors. The Mavericks, are they interested in trading for Jae Crowder after trading him away 8 years ago? God, 8 years. It's been a long time. Well, one Shams Charania has linked Dallas to the veteran forward. Sources tell me that both the Suns and Crowder are now working forward, finding him a trade out of Phoenix. Look for teams like Boston, Memphis, Dallas, and Miami to be interested. Listen, number one, all those teams have been linked to Crowder. And what does that tell you? Number one, he's well respected in the NBA. And number two, teams value him as a glue guy on a veteran team trying to contend. And all those teams, what do they have in common? They're all having championship aspirations, at least high-level playoff aspirations. And Jae Crowder is a player that needs to be on a contender because he can do a lot of different things like we've discussed here on this show. Numbers were a bit down last year from an efficiency standpoint, but I'll chalk that up to just having a bit of a down year shooting. Shot the ball much better in the playoffs. I mean, he was lighting it up against Dallas from three-point range in that second-round series. But he's a guy that's going to give you 8 to 12 points. You know, in most years, shoot 40 to 45% from the field, 36, 38% from three. Last year, a tick down, but that's what he does offensively. And where his value really comes into play is positional versatility on both ends. He can play the 2, 3, or 4. He can guard 1 through 4s. He's a foxhole guy, locker room guy. Is going to fit in anywhere he goes. And a reason he would fit in with Dallas is it eats some minutes. It takes some pressure off Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock. And potentially Josh Green, who as of now would probably have to play a decent amount of minutes. It would take the load off of these guys, which would be very, very nice for the Mavericks. Finney-Smith and Bullock were having to play way too many minutes in the playoffs, which I expect those guys to play a lot in the playoffs, but you need someone who can eat more minutes, and Jae Crowder is someone who can certainly do that. This is a trade idea that we've thrown out there. Dwight Powell in a first. I would also consider Dwight Powell, Josh Green in a second, even 2 seconds if you don't have to give up a first, something like that. Kind of what you're looking at in terms of trying to get Jae Crowder. Phoenix could use another big after losing JaVale McGee to Dallas, and they've agreed to part ways mutually. So it's not like the Suns have a ton of leverage in getting a ton in return for Jae Crowder. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I think this trade goes down, whether it's the Mavericks or someone else, before opening night. He will not participate in training camp as the two sides, Crowder and the Suns, have agreed to move on. So we'll have to wait and see where he ends up this season. What do you guys think? Should the Mavs trade for Jae Crowder? Type Y for yes, type in for no. They have an open roster spot as well, so even if it's just draft capital, they could bring him in, although they'd have to move some money around to make that happen, so a player would almost certainly be involved. Y for yes, in for no. I say yes. What say you? Let us know in the comments. The season's here. Basketball's back. Training camp starts what? Thursday, Coop? Thursday is the first training camp practice. Then a week or two after that, we'll have preseason action. And then mid-October, third week of October, we'll have some basketball to get into. Real basketball games. I can't wait. Fall's the best time of the year, later fall, because you got football going on, you got the NBA coming back, you got playoff baseball, tons of fun sports happening across the globe. YouTube.com/MavsTV. This is the time to subscribe. That way we can continue to bring you guys the latest Mavs news and rumors. All right, let's talk about Media Day here. That was completed earlier today. Mark Cuban, Jason Kidd, Luka, Mavs players, they took the podium. They talked to reporters today. Something that was confirmed today by Jason Kidd is that JaVale McGee will be the starting center for Dallas. We had heard those rumblings earlier in the offseason. Kidd had kind of made a comment as well that was the plan, and that was confirmed today. He's coming off a year where he was the backup center in Phoenix, but did play a lot, 9.2 points per game, 7 rebounds, over 62% blocks a shot per game as well. And let's be honest, based on reports, this is why the Mavs got him. There were other teams in the mix to get JaVale McGee, but they pitched him, hey, you'll start here. You'll be a lob threat with Luka, and you'll get to start. So I think that was a big reason why he signed, and getting the third year on that contract was a big reason as well. So JaVale will start. Doesn't mean he's going to play 30 minutes a game. In fact, I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll be 18 to 25 minutes, depending on the night, but he will be the starting five at least to start the year. So what does that mean for Christian Wood? Well, they view him as a sixth man here in Dallas, which means you really kind of have two sixth men because Tim Hardaway Jr. will also come off the bench, which is nice. You kind of have 7 starters on this team right now, which is a very, very good thing. No talks have taken place, according to Wood, based for a potential contract extension. I think this is very much a prove-it year for him. The Mavs want to see if he can be productive on a contending team because he's put up big numbers the last couple of years for the Rockets, but they have not been a contender. So is he a good stats, bad team guy, or can he be a factor on a good team? We'll have to wait and see. He'll have to prove that to this franchise. But he'll play a lot. He'll play some 4, play some 5. Dodo's going to start at the 4. The reason they're doing this is, A, they clearly promised JaVale that he's going to start. And B, they want Reggie Bullock in the starting lineup. They thought he played much better in the playoffs in that role. I agree. So Wood will come off the bench. He'll probably be the first guy off the bench. I would guess most games him and Tim will check in together, probably for Spencer Dinwiddie and JaVale McGee or Reggie Bullock, depending on how they want to work the early rotation. All right, who's the better pickup this offseason for the Mavericks? Type 35 for Christian Wood. That's his jersey number. Type 00 for JaVale McGee, his jersey number. Let us know in the comments. Better offseason pickup for the Mavericks this year. Before we continue with some Media Day coverage here, hoodie season's going to be here before you know it. It's still hot in Dallas, which is unbelievable. But that's why you buy your hoodie now, 25% off before they take away the discount, and you're going to be good to go for the hoodie season weather. Chatsports.com/Mavs hoodie. That is chatsports.com/Mavs hoodie. Link in the comments and in the description. Get your hoodie today. That way when it cools off, you are already locked and loaded with your hoodie. Link in the comments and in the description. Go ahead and get it going right now. Dorian Finney-Smith. Is he going to be a better transition player, better ball handler? Certainly wants to work on doing that. Dodo talked about that earlier today, and that's kind of the next step for him, right? Like, he's been one of those players that he kind of adds something to his game every year. When he first came into the NBA, he was just this raw athlete that was, kind of a gritty type of player, pretty good defender. Well, he became an even better defender, slowly improved as a shooter every single year, and now the next step is kind of being a better ball handler, which I thought he was a little better at last year, but we saw that, especially in the second half of the season. He's willing to put the ball on the deck and drive to the rim, but if he can become an open court player as well, run those 3-on-2 fast breaks with Luka, that's even more valuable. So we'll see if that can happen. Obviously, that's not really been something to his game that he's been known for. I wouldn't expect him to all of a sudden, have handles like Allen Iverson or something like that. But if he can be passable in the open court and not just, run to the three-point line, be ready to catch and shoot, be able to actually handle, get to the basket, that'd be nice. We saw a little of the dribble drive last year, so we'll see. What I respect is he's always in the lab, man. He's always looking to improve, and he has improved a ton since he first came into the NBA. All right, lastly, and this is just stupid, but the NBA made rules regarding bench decorum, a.k.a. we're going to call it the Theo Pinson rules here. Basically, there's like how would you describe this, Coop? An invisible barrier that you can't cross, and if you do, it's a technical foul or something like that. This is because the Mavs badass bench mob last year had too much fun, and F Silver in the chat because F Adam Silver, he doesn't like fun anymore. F stands for effing no fun anymore in the NBA. Come on, this is just stupid. Nothing they did had any impact in terms of like physically getting in the way on a play last year. I don't remember. And by the way, if it did, it would have been called a technical foul. We've seen that before. Remember when Jason Kidd ran into, who was that? Mike Woodson, and knocked a drink out of his hand? That was a foul. It was a technical, I believe. So what are we doing here? Like, come on. Don't cut the fun out. F Silver, I like him as a commissioner, but this is just lame. No more fun, I guess, these days. What are you going to do? All right, that's going to do it for our Media Day coverage. And Jae Crowder trade rumor still out there, so we'll see if something happens there. If you're a real Mavs fan, if you're a real one, type MFFL in the comments. Coverage is going to be ramping up here. More videos throughout the week, so stick with us here. Mavs are back. Go ahead and subscribe.